today's headlines, Vietnam poised to tackle trade volatility. And later on, Hanoi to plant 15,000 trees at schools. Good evening, you're watching today's headlines, where we bring you the top stories of the day. State President Lương Cường presided over an incense offering ceremony at Kính Thiên Palace in the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel, Hanoi on February 6 to commemorate kings and those who contributed to national development. The ceremony, aimed at praying for national peace, prosperity, and harmony, reflects deep respect and gratitude for the kings and scholars who laid the foundation for the culture of Thăng Long and Đại Việt civilization, which has endured through the glorious Ho Chi Minh era. This meaningful event honors ancestors, celebrates traditional values, and preserves customs, while teaching younger generations about their heritage. It stands as a centerpiece of the Lunar New Year or Tet celebrations at the UNESCO-recognized Thăng Long Imperial Citadel relic site. On February 5th, the Vietnamese government issued Resolution Number 25, outlining economic growth targets for various sectors and localities. The resolution mandates that the country achieve a GDP growth rate of at least 8% in 2025, while assigning 16 provinces and cities a double-digit gross regional domestic product (GRDP) growth target. And to meet these ambitious targets, the government has tasked ministers, department heads, and local leaders with closely monitoring economic indicators and implementing effective policies. Local governments are expected to take a proactive and innovative approach in decision-making, ensuring that all economic sectors contribute to the overall growth objectives. Receiving Mr. Kyu Dong-gil, Director General of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, on February 6, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính affirmed that Vietnam highly appreciates the cooperative relationship with the FAO over the past years. To promote cooperation between the two sides, the Prime Minister asked the FAO to continue supporting and assisting Vietnam in increasing added value and developing green, sustainable, smart, and climate change responsive agriculture. Vietnam will cooperate with the FAO in international cooperation programs, such as sharing experiences with African countries in developing land potential, eliminating hunger, and reducing poverty. The FAO Director General praised Vietnam's achievements in hunger eradication, poverty reduction, and agricultural development. He affirmed that Vietnam is a model with valuable achievements and lessons many countries admire and wish to emulate. Quick and timely responses, staying proactive, seizing opportunities, and maintaining momentum to continue development. This is Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính directive in response to the potential global trade war, which could disrupt supply chains and shrink export markets. Vietnamese businesses have been actively preparing to address this possibility. More to follow.
This company specializes in manufacturing indoor and outdoor wooden furniture and industrial wood flooring for domestic sales and exports to the US, Europe, Japan, and South Korea. Despite relying mainly on exports, it remains confident amid global uncertainties.
Exporting to international markets requires strict compliance with origin traceability. We are confident in maintaining transparent and legal sourcing and are actively working to diversify our markets.
No business wants to depend on a single customer or market. However, staying proactive requires strong industry connections, where trade associations play a crucial role.
In challenging times, we must unite because individual businesses would struggle to respond promptly to external shocks.
Vietnam has made great efforts to sign numerous free trade agreements, which provide a solid foundation for maintaining stability, expanding, and diversifying export markets.
Vietnam is now a key link in the global supply chain. With the advantages of signed free trade agreements, we must leverage them effectively to boost export share.
Vietnam can confidently maintain exports and investment as key growth drivers by seizing opportunities through stable, sustainable, and mutually beneficial economic and trade relations.
Every crisis holds opportunities. The key is to stay prepared, not only to overcome challenges but also to capitalize on the opportunities they bring.
Total import-export turnover reached $63.15 billion in January, marking a 10.5% decrease from the previous month and a 3.5% drop compared to the same period last year. And while Vietnamese goods have numerous opportunities to benefit from preferential tariffs in FTA markets, rules of origin are critical for securing these benefits. However, they can also nullify tariff advantages if products fail to meet origin requirements. The Ministry of Industry and Trade pledged to guide and support enterprises, helping them to meet international commitments and Vietnamese regulations regarding product origin certification. Additionally, it has paid due attention to administrative reform and resolving business concerns over the issue. Coming up next, sustainable aviation fuel helps promote green transportation. In Hanoi to plant 15,000 trees at schools. Now moving on to other news, this afternoon the National Assembly Standing Committee continued its 42nd session, offering opinions on several draft laws and draft resolutions to streamline the organization. The Standing Committee agreed on the number of its members. It also agreed to maintain the names of the National Assembly's current agencies. The organization post-restructuring will include the Ethnic Council and 7 committees, 2 less than present. And to avoid disruption, the Standing Committee proposed the status quo in some areas and workloads, such as religion and scrutinizing international treaties. Also this afternoon, the National Assembly Standing Committee reviewed and approved 2 2024 resolutions to enact the law on organization of people's courts. The Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee held a conference on February 6th to announce the Thủ Đức City Master Plan through 2040 and introduce investment opportunities for 535 projects across 5 investment categories, with a total estimated capital of more than 800 trillion Vietnam dong. The Master Plan for Thủ Đức City through 2040 was approved by the Prime Minister on January 21, 2025. Under the plan, Thủ Đức City is designated as a first-tier city under Ho Chi Minh City and will serve as a key transportation hub for the southeastern region, integrating road, rail, maritime, and inland waterway networks. This April, Vietnam will host the 4th summit of the Partnering for Green Growth and the Global Goals, or P4G. This is an important event for sustainable growth, and green transport is a key topic. Vietnam's transport still relies heavily on fossil fuels, accounting for nearly a quarter of total greenhouse gas emissions. Therefore, promoting green transport is an inevitable necessity.
Currently, 70 airlines worldwide use sustainable fuels on commercial flights. From this year, jet fuel loaded at EU airports must contain at least 2% sustainable aviation fuel. The first international flights departing from Vietnam have already started using sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. Although it costs 3 to 4 times more than conventional fuel, aviation emissions can be reduced by up to 80%.
There are only 5 years left to meet the aviation industry's goal of using sustainable fuels. But this is the only way for airlines to reduce their carbon emissions.
If they do not use SAF, airlines will have to buy carbon credits for their excess emissions. Although the target is in place, Vietnam still depends on foreign SAF supplies.
When we can produce sustainable aviation fuel, we can be self-sufficient and supply countries in the region as well as worldwide.
transport accounts for 58 to 74% of total emissions. Switching to green transport powered by sustainable fuels, from using electric vehicles or public transport, is the first step towards a greener living environment.
To create a green, clean and beautiful environment that helps improve the quality of learning, the Hanoi Education and Training Sector today launched a campaign to plant trees in schools. The goal is to plant 15,000 trees. And Hanoi has currently nearly 3,000 schools with 2.3 million students and 128,000 teachers. The education sector has donated 5,000 trees to schools and launched a campaign to plant 3 new trees at each school. This activity is in response to the Prime Minister's urging to plant 1 billion trees in 2021 to 2025. Thousands of visitors, both local and foreign, flocked to the traditional horse racing festival in Go Thi Thum, An Xuân Commune, Tuy An District, Phie Province on the 9th day of the first lunar month. The festival attracted 32 local horses this year, and most of the racing horses are mares that typically carry agricultural products, and the jockeys are predominantly local farmers. People travel from great distances to attend this event. In Phie Province, many locals still rely on horses to transport agricultural products and farming supplies. These horses excel at navigating bumpy, slippery terrain that vehicles cannot access. A healthy horse can carry more than 100 kilos on his back. As usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today's headlines. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.